Hello everyone, welcome to chemistry class. Here we are with another part of this chapter number. In this chapter 1 matter we have discussed already the first previous topics. Let us continue our class with the next topic, that is interconversion of the state of matter. How the state of matter changes. We have seen in the previous class that there are different kind of the state of matter, the solid, the liquid and the gas. And whenever one state of matter changes from one form to another form, that is solid change to liquid, liquid change to gas, and opposite also, vice versa, that is called as interconversion of the state of the matter. We will proceed forward and move on to the observations of how these interconversions are brought about. First we will see solid to liquid interconversion. So whenever we are heating any kind of the solid, the temperature will increase and the solid will change into the liquid. This is called as the melting. Whenever solid changes to liquid, it is called as melting. How this melting will take place? So when we see the solid state, the molecules can only vibrate. They are not having any space to move, so they are only vibrating on their fixed position. But when we are heating is a kind of energy. This energy will be absorbed by the molecules of the solid and they will receive energy, and their vibrations will be their vibration will be greater than earlier, and after some time this energy will be so high that the molecules will overcome the strong cohesion of the solid. That means the intermolecular force will be broken because of the extra energy that we are giving by heating. So when we are heating the substance, the vibrations of the solid become so strong that they overcome the strong intermolecular force of the solid, and the solid melts down. The solid becomes labile. Labile means weak. The molecule will become weak, the solid molecule become weak, and they start moving away from each other, and that is where we can say melting of solid is going on. This happens at a fixed temperature. The temperature at which the solid is melting is called as melting point. Like ice is melting at 0, carbon is melting at 3550 degrees Celsius, aluminium at 660 degrees Celsius, iron at 1535 degrees Celsius. So different temperatures are there for different solid items for melting. That whatever temperature is there where melting is happening is called as melting point. Same way will be for cooling, will be opposite. Whenever we are cooling down, liquid will change into solid. This is called as the freezing, and it happens at the temperature called freezing point. So this definition you have to mark. Also the definition of melting point and freezing point you have to learn. So the change in the state of liquid to solid, change in state from liquid to solid is called as freezing. What is happening in this? Let us understand the concept. When we are cooling down, now what will happen? The molecule will lose energy. When we were heating, molecules absorb energy, but when we are cooling, molecules will lose the energy and they will move close to each other. When molecule gain energy, they move away from each other, but when molecule lose energy, they move close to each other, and as a result, when they come close, what will happen? Intermolecular force or cohesion will increase. If attraction is increasing, what will happen? The liquid will convert into solid. Obviously the liquid will convert into solid because the molecules are coming close to each other because of less energy. So this is what happens at the freezing point. And obvious and interesting point is there, that always the freezing point of every liquid is same as the melting point. Whatever is the freezing point of liquid, that exactly is the same as the melting point of the solid. Like you can see, water is freezing at 0 degrees Celsius. If you take water to 0 degrees Celsius, it will become ice. Same way, ice melt at 0 degrees Celsius. If you take ice up to 0 degrees Celsius, it will start converting to water. So ice and water both will exist together at this temperature. Some part will be ice, some part will be water. So freezing point is equal to the melting point. Always remember this thing. And another point that you have to take note is, a substance will exist in solid state only and only below, and in the liquid state only above the melting point. What they are telling, first point is below the melting point. Below the melting point, it will remain solid. After the melting point, the substance will start melting. So a substance will remain solid only below the melting point. Next part we will read, a substance will exist in the liquid state. Now substance will remain liquid up to when? Only above the melting point. So if the melting point, if we are decreasing, if we are not the melting point, if the temperature we are decreasing and it is still above the melting point only, then the substance will remain liquid. Suppose we have taken 10 degrees Celsius temperature and water is there. Okay, at 10 degree water will remain water. We are decreasing the temperature 8, again it will remain water. We have brought the temperature to 1 degree, again it will remain water. But now we have brought the temperature is now 0 degrees Celsius. So at 0 it will not remain water, it will become ice. So up to the above the melting point or above the freezing point, it will remain water. So that is what they are telling. The melting point is of the solid is 0 degrees Celsius, like ice. Ice is a solid, no? So the melting point of the solid ice is 0 degrees Celsius. If we keep the temperature -1, -2, -3, whatever you can keep, it will remain ice only. But when you do 1 degree Celsius, 2 degrees Celsius, above the melting point, it will not be ice, it will become water only. So that is you have to remember. Now next we will see liquid to gas. So whenever we are heating the liquid is heated to a temperature, then what will happen? Bubbles will form, and these bubbles will do the boiling of the liquid. Boiling will happen, and at the boiling point the liquid will convert into the gas. It will start evaporating outside. So what is happening there is, when we are heating, the molecule move away from each other, intermolecular force will become weak, and molecule change into the gas. Like some boiling points are given here. Water boiling point is 100 degrees Celsius, ethyl alcohol is 78, glycerin is 290 degrees Celsius. So that is all. Here also you have to see, a substance will remain liquid only below the boiling point. If the temperature is more than the boiling point, then substance will become a gas. These lines you have to underline. The opposite now, when you have taken a gas, and you are cooling it down, what will happen? The liquid will produce, the gas will change into the corresponding liquid below the boiling point. This process is called as condensation. When the liquid is changed into gas, it is evaporation. Evaporation takes place. But when the gas changes to liquid, it is condensation or liquefaction. What is happening on cooling is same concept. On cooling, what will happen? Energy will decrease, molecules of gas will become less energetic. When the energy decreases, what happens? Molecule come close to each other, and when the molecule come close to each other, the attraction or intermolecular force will increase, and if more attraction is there, the gas will change into the liquid. So this is all about the interconversions are over now. Now you would have heard the term vapors and gases. What is the difference? Are they different or not? The answer is no. Vapors are not different from the gases. Both are the same. Vapors are the same as gases. Both are in the gaseous state only. Now why we are using two words now? If both are same, why we are saying water vapor? Why we are not saying water gas? Yeah. Same way we are saying oxygen gas. We are not saying oxygen vapor. What is the reason? Why we are using two type of words then? If both are same thing only, we can use any one. But it is not so. So what is the small minute difference that is there? The substances that ordinarily exist in the gaseous state, ordinarily means at the room temperature, without heating, without cooling. At the room temperature, if something is in the gas form, then it is called as a gas only. In the room around you, air is present and it is having hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, all things are there. Okay, now they are at room temperature only, they are already in the gaseous form. So if at the room temperature something is in the gaseous form, it is called as a gas. In that case, it is not called, it will not be called as a vapor. So hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, all these are called as a gas. We are not calling them as vapors. When we will call them vapor, what type of substance is called as vapor? The substance that ordinarily exists as solid or liquid, they are called as vapor. Suppose you have taken water. If you have taken water in your room, you can take some water in some container, in a glass you take some water. It will remain water only until and unless you are not heating that. It will not change into gas, it will remain water. So if any substance at room temperature remain in the solid state or in the liquid state, that is called as vapors. You can take naphthalene for example. It will not change into vapors. If you are keeping in open air, then it will change obviously, but other than that it will not do. Sulfur is a good example. Sulfur is a solid. It is used to worship, in the worship process it is used, it is burned, so it will produce a good smell. Sulfur, when you are heating, it will change into gas, but other than that it will not change. Same way water, if you are not heating, it will remain a liquid. So that is why they are called as vapors. Sulfur will produce sulfur vapors, water will produce water vapor. They will not produce a gas, they will produce vapors. So just now I told one example, naphthalene. What is that actually? That process is whenever the solid change into the gas directly, without melting, without becoming a liquid. That process is called as sublimation. When the solid change to liquid, liquid change to gas, that is a normal process. But in this, what is happening? The liquid will not form. Solid will directly change into the gas. This process is called as sublimation, and sublimation is taking place in some examples. We'll see like mothball, air freshener, or naphthalene, or camphor, or iodine, ammonium chloride. All these are the examples of sublimation only. These four names you have to learn: naphthalene, camphor, iodine, ammonium chloride. These are the four substances which undergo sublimation. This can be asked in exam. Four substances which show sublimation. So what is happening is, whenever you keep naphthalene in open room, it will change into the vapors, it will change into the gaseous form. Camphor also produces good smell. Camphor in Hindi is called as kapoor. Same way iodine, ammonium chloride, these are the chemicals which change into the vapors or the gaseous form whenever they are kept in the open room. So that is all about the interconversion. That is over. Now we will see the next part of this chapter, the last part, that is the composition of matter. We already know that matter around us is made up of atoms or molecules, and these are having elements. So whatever substances are around us, all things, even our own body that is made of matter, is composed of elements only. And what is an element? Now definition we'll see. Any substance that we cannot split, we cannot break anything into smaller parts. Split means break. If we cannot break anything into small part by chemical reactions also, that is called as an element. Example like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, sulfur, all these are elements only. We cannot break hydrogen into two parts, we cannot break oxygen into two parts. So that is all are elements only. Whenever we have to write the name of the element, need of writing this full name. In place of writing this full hydrogen, we can write small h, that is the symbol. N stands for nitrogen, O stands for oxygen, S stands for sulfur, Fe stands for iron, Cu stands for copper. So what are these? These are all symbols. Please underline this line, everyone. Elements are represented by dash. Question can be asked in exam. Answer will be symbols. Like here, all these symbols are given. Already I have told you about this symbol. Now whenever different elements are combining together, what will happen? When two or more than two elements are combining, chemical combination is there, they will produce a compound. What I told, element combines with another element, what we will get? We will get a compound. We will get an example of this. Like simple example we can take. If you take some hydrogen and react with oxygen, we take some hydrogen and ignite it with oxygen, we will get water. So what are the first two things? First two things are elements only. What are they? These are elements. So hydrogen as well as oxygen, both of these things are elements. These elements have joined together to give water, and water is a compound. Whenever element join, we will get a new compound. This is an example that I have told. So what is that definition of a compound? Any substance if it can be split. In the element definition, only one difference is there, in that can not is written. Remaining definition is full same. So if we can break any substance into small parts by chemical reaction, how we can break? By chemical reaction, by chemical change, or by chemical means, then it is called as compound. And if we cannot, if we cannot break anything, then it is called as element. If something can break into two parts by chemical reaction, it is element. If something can, I said wrong, if something can break into two parts, it is called as compound. If it cannot be broken, it is called as an element. So example of that already I have told, it is written here, you can read from here. Water is what? Compound. Hydrogen and oxygen are elements. Same way you can take another example. Carbon combines with oxygen. Carbon is a element, it combines with another element, oxygen. Both of these are what? Elements only. Carbon and oxygen are element. And what we will get as a result of this? We will get carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is what? It is a compound. Equation we can write like C plus O2 gives CO2. So C means carbon, that is the symbol of carbon only. C means carbon and O2 is oxygen. O2 is oxygen and CO2 is carbon dioxide. CO2 is what? It is the compound that is produced there, carbon dioxide. First two are what? They are elements, and the last one is what? It is a compound. So I hope the concept is clear to you. This carbon dioxide we can break into two parts, we can get carbon and oxygen again. Same way water we can break into two parts, we can get hydrogen and oxygen again. So if we can break any substance into two parts or more than two parts, it is a compound. Let us come to the next concept of atoms and molecules. So if you are keeping on dividing an element again and again and again, we cannot be, it is not possible after a certain period of time. The smallest possible thing in an element is called as an atom. The atoms only take part in the chemical reaction. What is the definition now? Atom is the smallest part of the element that participate in the chemical reaction. Element can only be divided into atoms. Atom cannot be divided. Atom is the only smallest part that can participate in the reaction. Whenever you do the reaction, suppose we have taken, same example we will take, we have taken hydrogen and oxygen, we are making water. So what is happening there? Atoms of hydrogen and atoms of oxygen are doing the reaction. They are participating in the reaction. What is participating in every reaction is called as atom. That is the smallest part of every element. But these atoms cannot live alone. They cannot remain independent, and two or more than two atoms will always join with each other. They always join together and they will form a molecule. Atom plus atom. What we will get? We will get a new molecule. It is just, this concept is similar to what we had already seen, that elements, different element also combine together. When two different elements join, what is produced? We are getting a compound, like hydrogen and oxygen give water. Same way, different atoms also join together to give a molecule. And atom is not able to live independent, but molecule can remain independent. It is having that ability to stand on its own, to remain alone. Suppose hydrogen atom reacts with another hydrogen atom, we will get H2. H2 means it is a molecule of hydrogen. It is having 2. यहाँ पर 2 क्यों लिखा है? This 2 is written because it is having 2 atoms of hydrogen. That is why 2 is written. Same way, oxygen atoms will join together, we will get O2. 2 means 2 atoms of oxygen are there. N plus N, we will get nitrogen molecule. 2 means 2 atoms of nitrogen are there. So if different atoms join together, we will get a single molecule, and molecule can remain independent. Atom cannot remain independent. The molecule of single element is made of the atoms of the same kind. It is also possible we can join the atoms of different type. We can take carbon, we can take oxygen, we will get CO. CO is what? It is a gas called as carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Now here you can see atoms are of different type. One atom is of carbon, another atom is of oxygen. So atoms of different type also can be there. Let us see the definition of molecule. What is the molecule? It is the smallest part of the element which can remain independent. That smallest part in a chemical reaction is an atom, but the smallest part which is independent is a molecule. So there is a small difference in definition, don't be confused. Whenever the atoms are combining, we have just now discussed atoms join together to make molecules, but whenever they are joining in whole numbers. It will not happen like half atom is joining with another half. It is not possible. Full atoms will always join. Whole atoms are only joining, and that is why molecule is forming as a combination of the different atoms. Whenever we have to write the name of the molecule, we are using the formulas. Whenever we are writing the name of the atoms, we are using the symbols. Atoms are represented by symbols, like elements are written by symbols. So molecule we are writing by formulas. Please underline this line. Molecule is represented by the formula, and formula will show the number of atoms that are present there. Like we have written H2, it is telling us there are 2 atoms. 2 atoms of what? 2 atoms of hydrogen are there. If we have written the formula O3, O3 means it is ozone molecule. Ozone is a gas. So O3 is telling us there are 3 atoms of oxygen that are present here. Same way, if we are writing CO2, so it is telling us there is 1 atom of carbon, and there are 2 atoms that are of oxygen that are present in the same thing. So total how many atoms are there? You can add this, you will say total 3 atoms are there, but 1 atom is of carbon, 2 atoms are of oxygen. So this is what? CO2 is what? CO2 is the formula. CO2 is the formula of carbon dioxide. So by reading the formula only, we can count the number of the atoms that are present in a particular substance. This part, reading part, you can do. I have explained everything here. So that is all. The final point you have to take care that in every molecule the number of the combining atom is fixed. This number will not change. Here you can see these diagrams and all the things are explained already. Now we will come to the last topic, that is what holds atoms and molecules. Just now we have discussed atoms and molecules, that atoms join together, and what we are getting? Atom join, then molecule is forming. Now what is holding these atoms together? Why the atoms are not going away from each other? Why they are present together? That is because some force of attraction is there. Whenever molecule is made by joining of the atom, there is some force of attraction, and that force of attraction is called as a chemical bond. This is, you have to remember, the force that holds 2 different atoms in a molecule is called as a chemical bond, and this chemical bond is a very strong force which holds the atoms together. We'll read here. There is also another type of force in matter that we have seen in the molecules. Intermolecular force is there, but if we compare the chemical bond and intermolecular force, which one is stronger, then obviously we will say, please mark this in your book, a chemical bond is much stronger than this cohesion or intermolecular force, because the atoms are held together in a molecule more strongly than the molecules in matter. When the atoms are joining together in molecule, they are joined by a chemical bond, and that bond is very difficult to break. It is more stronger than the intermolecular force or attractive force called as cohesion. So that is all for this chapter explanation. Now we will just have a view of the exercise part. All these answers have been discussed already by your teacher in the live classes on the Teams app. You have got all the answers, but still, in case you have missed any of the classes, you can follow or you can go through the answers that are being provided. Now this we will just go through this one time only. We will refer to this solution that is given here. So only the answers are here. In case any answer you have missed, I'll just scroll through. You can pause and take a screenshot of any answer if you need. So these are the short answers followed by the long ones here. In the question number 4 here, you have a diagram also. You have to make a diagram also. So take a note to make the diagram also. Don't forget that. Here it is the book exercise part. That is all about this particular chapter. It is all completed. If any of the answer appears different, you can follow the live answers, the live class answers also. These also are correct. There is no problem. You will not face any loss of that. So, and this answer, please take a note. We have made different paragraphs. Write it separately. All these paragraphs, wherever paragraph changes there. If we have skipped any, if we have changed the paragraph, this answer is having 2 paragraphs. Write it separately in your notebook and do the work in neat and clean handwriting. Avoid cutting and all. So that is all. If you have any doubt still, you can post your queries in the comment section, and you can also ask the doubts in your live class from your teacher who is teaching in the live class, as well as you can post your queries in the chat section. You can send your questions to me on the Teams app. So that is all for this class. Thank you everyone.